Greetings and salutations, this is Jason Silverain and thank you for joining me today. I'm playing a little more Game Dev Tycoon, just to show off events in the game and see what happens, and if anyone wants to do requests for game titles and themes, just leave them in the comments. I did actually make a very good run of this at one point, where, as I mentioned last time, I had Fantasy Dungeon and what was it? Oh, Medieval, that was it. And because you can actually make games aimed at particular audiences like young, everyone, or mature later on, I actually at one point, because in between making RPGs and various strategies and things like that, I started making mature games for the PC on those themes. It's sort of based in real life, where a lot of beginning companies back in the 80s, ones that have grown into rather large companies today, actually made quite a lot of adult games. Oh, I think there is actually an article on Kotaku about it. I'll link to it again in the either in the comments or the description. That gives a handful of examples, but it's really quite funny how a lot of these companies did make adult games and have pretty much, out of embarrassment, I imagine, and also, probably trying to probably PR, that they have just removed these games from their gaming history. It's like, we're ashamed we ever did this. Actually, Duck Hunt was the first game I made, wasn't it? So I can do fantasy, and we're going to do another simulation. It's going to call it Dragonlance. I think this will be the final text-based adventure I make. Text-based game. I don't think that was enough of an improvement. Oh, shoddy reviews for Dungeon Keeper. I thought only EA was possible of doing that. Seriously, avoid that mobile game. It is a just testament to greed. It's like they've gone to Bullfrog's corpse and then done a massive dump on it with what they did to that game. So yes, while my simulation game is still going, just let it run by. I'm not having much luck here. Oh, I don't think fantasy and simulation was a good combination, actually. Oh no, according to my cheat sheet, it's action, adventure, RPG and strategies. Oh well, you learn something new each time. Oops, I put a bug back in the game, I don't want that. So we've got a new platform. And the G64 is outselling everyone. Though they suddenly go bust, and I can't remember why. Oh well, this is going to be the duff one in my games library. Now, and because I've added this mod in, it just has constant console releases in the early years of the game, which is actually very accurate to real life. This is why we had the video games industry crash. It's because so many consoles were coming out, and a lot of the same game was constantly being released over and over and over. People just didn't know what to buy. There was you couldn't just keep buying new consoles. All right, we're going to go back to. We're going to make a good fantasy game now. We're going to make a strategy game. Titles. Now, YouTube has been throwing this word at me all day. I don't even know why. But Das Vault memes. Oh, Das Vault. I've already screamed at me for like half an hour and I still can't remember how it's flipping pronounced. Okay. Let's make it 2D. No, it just does mean all my games from now on will have to be 2D graphics version 1 because text-based is technically a level below that. And because it rates your game's review score based on the previous game, you know, you can't really go backwards. So as you'll see, yeah, this is going to be 4s. I'm happy with 5s. 5s are good. 5s are good for a genre mix that doesn't work. There's always one. Okay, what's good with strategy? Alright. I think the engine wants to be... I think it's pretty much the same as simulation here, which is why I keep matching the two up with genres. And I love seeing those little bubbles appear saying, yes, you've gained it a little bit. Now here's... Alright, this is the main swap. That goes up, that goes down. Now, half the fun of this game is the discovery. So I don't want to reveal too much. Well, it was a crap game, but he was impressed by the talent involved in making it. That's nice. Already, Das Vault is better than my previous game. If a little buggy. Well, I still made a decent amount of money. I didn't lose fans. I barely gained any though. And Gamiga 1000. I did actually get the license for this one and start making games for it last time it popped up because I've always been a fan of the Amiga. But it's very costly to make for. PC is just so much cheaper. And you don't have to buy a development license. So at this stage of the game, burning 100k, no, it's very difficult. Oh, and this is where the NES now comes into development. Ninvendo. Or Vento. Oh, I don't know how you pronounce this. Okay, get rid of these bugs. I wouldn't mind a bit more technology in there. Ooh. Oh yes, I forgot I've unlocked marketing, but at this stage it's probably not worth it. I'll probably spend more money than I'd actually make from the marketing. But look at all those level ups. Excellent. God forbid if I want to make RPGs though, dialogues and stories and quests are just hardly anything there. I've got quite a lot of world design out of that. And we get another stat increase. No design. No technology. I got 1 speed. You see what I mean about this not being broken at all? Because it's just... the amounts you get are pitiful and it's randomised. Now I should be doing research via my game reports. And the good thing about these game reports is this is where you get information about the games that you've made. Things like... genre matchups and things like that, which you pass on to your next game. Okay, for a second I thought I was going to get a 9. I did get a 9. Holy crap! It's like going from 7s to 4s to 9s. This little indie dev is all over the place. How much did Dragonlance make then? It made a fair decent amount. I think it made more than it cost me to make it, so that's all I can really ask. Duck Hunt, graphics are important. Okay, good to know. Right now I've got enough is to make that custom gain engine, because that'll give me more unlocks to research. And hopefully I'll get a few more level ups. Last time I was playing through, because of the mods, I got tons of level ups really early. I'm getting nothing this time. So yes, the TES has been released. Now there are achievements for... oh god, yeah, normally this is nowhere near as long. It's simply because I've got the thing that adds all those extra researches in, and this is, you can see why I'm not overly impressed with the sheer amount it adds in. Now, there are achievements for naming some of the games you make after others, and they don't even have to match up, really, like Pong. Let's get another game report. So it cost me 26k, income was 95. That one, yeah, just cleared. That one far better. Like, why did that one cost so much more? Okay. While Das Vault is still selling, I'll keep doing my research. Dragonlance, you're next. And finally, wait, whoops! I did Das Vault instead of Dragonlance. Oh well. Okay, so what have we learned? Dungeon Keeper, level design's important. Yes. Das Vault. Fantasy and strategy, great combination. Yep, kind of knew that. Level design seems to be important. Alright, fantasy and simulation is an okay combination. It's not a terrible one. I thought it was a terrible one, but I'm all good. I'm happy with that. So it was just merely mediocre. I've got plenty of research, but I'll save it for now. We're going to develop a new game. We're going to do something a bit different. We are going to go for tabletop games. Cluedo. There is not enough digital versions of Cluedo out there. I freaking love Cluedo. Strategy. I go for PC. I'm going to go for... Oh, it's because the other games were text-based. Yeah, wasn't the last game I made a strategy? I've already forgotten. Check my game history. Yes, it was a strategy. Yeah, this is so useful. Because you don't want to release the same game of the same, well, yeah, basically the same genre and game type combination after each other. So don't release a fantasy RPG and then release another fantasy RPG immediately afterwards. It pisses off your fans and gives you low ratings for some reason. You know, I might actually attempt at trying out the marketing this early in the game. 50k. Yeah, we're going to advertise it in magazines, get a little hype. And this will improve sales. We've got a new record in both. It's a new topic, a new combo, so we're going to get lots of juicy level ups. Yeah, gimme, gimme, gimme. More level ups. Though your own level was absolutely pointless. It really is. It doesn't do anything because as that only affects staff wages and you don't cost any wage. There we go. New research. Well, that's increased a fair amount. I'm happy with that. Contract work. Let's earn some money. I think I can do that in 4 weeks. So we're going to make us logo, but oh, it's only 7s. I mean, it's going to be a 7 and 8 game. Or is it just going to be a 7 game? No, it's going to be a 7 and 8 game. That's enough that the hype won't backlash. Oh, I remember that. Basically, the Atari 5200 basically can't convince people to buy it because the games weren't compatible and stuff. A bit before my time, but I remember reading about it. See, the fantastic thing is this contract work, brilliant for leveling up my stats. There we go, thank you for the money. I'm quite happy to have completed that contract quite nicely, because if you don't complete it, the downside is you pay a fine. And I have actually bankrupted myself doing that by accident. Oh, well, that's good news. And on that positive spin, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.